This is glass, and you're looking down. So, you know, when I had this pattern on these sides and on the bumpers, I was working with that kind of grid and then filling in different parts of the grid to create these geometric shapes. What I went here was a happy accident of just kind of extruding those solids, and I thought, boy, underneath that glass, having more glass and having it illuminated and having different colors in there, it turned out to be really interesting. So it's like a progression of that design to kind of take it to another level in this area. And this is the goal, so I wanted to make that, you know, kind of extra special or different. So, you know.
Hold on a second. So what is this area over here?
This is where you would program the computer program, write the program. Like here with begin, and you're working up to the end, if then else. And program are these lights here. This area is where you debug the program. So you've got these different terms from Pascal, and those are actual terms from that you'd find in a program. And so this area is where you debug the program, and finally in this stage you actually run the program, and that would give you like a full light show, and all kinds of crazy things would happen. This is a cue, and part of the thing is to get these gold balls, which are smaller in diameter than the regular balls. You want to get the gold balls into here to complete this array, because there's these empty slots here in this sub playfield where there's a ball shooter. The ball shooter can rotate 360 degrees, and you're trying to fill in these holes, and I'm calling that an array, you know, which is a computer term. You enter this sub playfield by shooting the gold balls into the hole in this slot. This is what I'm calling a system bus, which is another computer term. This is a rotating disc that, when it's aligned correctly like this, has an open path, so you can actually get the ball into that hole. The hole leads to that subplay field. That in turn gives you the opportunity to complete that array. A lot of it I'm still, you know, it's still conceptual, but there is a real kind of a thought and a game strategy behind this. So it's about completing these different individual playfields to get to a larger goal. Those are kind of key, they represent key steps in the development, because they don't encompass all of them. I have like 200 of those.
200?
Probably.
The iterations, the steps of development.
Right, there's 200 of these individual playfields. And what I picked out were key ones where I had a significant jump in the development, where I had some sort of a brainstorm, and then it was like, oh, yeah, here's the next leap. So anything kind of significant I picked out, and then I created that as a storyboard to kind of show my thought process as I developed this piece. This is, unfortunately, I don't have the other sheet up. We don't have that up, but this is basically dealing with the line work and the lighting. So at this point here, the playfield was pretty much set. I had all the objects, all the elements. I knew how they were going to connect and how the ball would work, and hopefully the physics of it was going to work. But then I wanted to create, kind of a light work and the patterning of it. Still developing the theme of it. Really didn't have one. I just had, I didn't have a set theme, but then it kind of evolved on its own through the steps I took. But you can see how I started with like some kind of this crazy star, and that just didn't feel right. So as I worked more, that changed, and I wanted more of a contemporary, more of a digital feel, and then that kind of ended up becoming a theme for me, with the grid work from working in three-dimensional modeling. You'll see a grid work in your workspace, and I really like that kind of thing. So to me, that still speaks. It's a reference to digital and that kind of work, like a very pixelated, blocky kind of pixel font for the text on the instructions and the different lights. I was trying to emulate like the holes in the old punch cards of the old computer programs back in the day when it was actually a piece of paper that ran the computer. There were holes punched in the card, and I used that idea to develop this font in these lights. So they're actually just little individual squares. This is a glass playfield above, and you enter that on these metal ramps on the side. They're slightly obscured by the playfield above it, but that's how you'd enter. Like you could imagine shooting across and going up this ramp underneath to get to this upper playfield. And then of course you've got these targets here that you try to accomplish. But below that is that system bus, like I was telling you. It's a wheel, and it's got slots, and you can see how that a ball would turn that because it spins freely. But within it, there's a hole that leads to an underground tunnel that goes to the sub-playfield. And that's one of the goals in the game, is to get the gold balls, which are smaller diameter, you can see up here, into the hole there, and complete this area by filling in these slots. And yeah. Oh, this is a series of targets that divides these two playfields. But the idea is that if you are to knock them down, you create a free passageway between the two. So, which I think would make for an interesting play. As you knock those down, the ball can now really get crazy and go all over the place. This is some of this is hard to see, but this is a lane that would dump out, coming down out here. This is actually a pass-through that would connect this playfield to this playfield. You can see a spinner target there, but there's actually a tunnel there, and that's why it's slightly, you can see kind of a transparency there.
Yes.
You're looking through multiple levels. This is a higher raised playfield, but then there's the idea is there's a glass, just a glass lane that you're looking down through, and you're seeing that, like there's a ball underneath. I placed it under there to show that. But that, this allows you to get the ball from this side to this side. What you really want to do is you want to get the ball up here into the main playfield when you've completed all these other areas of the game. But, and once you get the ball up this ramp, the ball can enter this area through these slots here between the captive balls.